These paints.
Hey folks, welcome to another 3D printing Patreon preview. I have updates and releases from 88 campaigns to share with you this week. Quick content warning, some of these campaigns contain pinup style models. I've left a link in the description to a video discussing why that needs a content warning. That said, let's get started. First up, here's a wizard named Venric, a zombie of the same, a standing stone, and a northern warrior by Red Monastery Minis. This newbie fighter with a sword and shield is a free download from Iconic Minis. Here is Standart Painting's first Patreon exclusive model. Watch out for their Kickstarters too. Here is a better look at Shriek Burnt Thumb from Hammer of the Nerdsmith Studio. Omega Head Studio has Batman perched atop his spotlight. This is a Demon Girl from Warehouse Workshop. Here's the first of the Darkwood Undead by Lost Heresy. Here is Ratman Forge's full September release, as well as a look at some fun guys coming out in the future. Here's a Pixie and her Doe and Fawn friends from La Louve 3D. Zombie Smith Miniatures has added some Meg Riders and an Airbike to finish off their September release. Here's an interesting set of dice from the Surreal Factory. This tribe of lizard folk is from Lost World Miniatures. The Dark Arts Teacher and His Potions Class by Your Neighbor Knight Minis. "3DS of San" has an old broken statue of the Viking King Ragnar Lothbrok. Blue Wyvern is working on Nagas this month. For their September release, Blastcool has a ghostly football team and a bust of a guardsman. Thunderchrome has a modular terrain set coming out this month. Combat Octopus has JSDF and Bundeswehr reinforcements. From Dragon's Lake Miniatures for September, here are Gorgons, Shadowhunters, and a Thunderpack. A couple work-in-progress shots from Max Raw, a light pole, and a Broken Road base. Here's a preview of a house from the Dam District of Silver Lake by Dottie Dungeon and Intorni. From Polygrim, Baron Samedi and Lady Erzuli are here to dance and sing. Will you join them? And some wild folk, just cuz. This is the third of 3 Elemental Witches from Claudio Cassini Art, finishing up their first October release. From Lilalian Industrial Complex comes a Bunnybot and the IDK tank. Panzer Printer has an A43 Black Prince, British World War II tank. August McDaniel is working on ruins and rubble piles this month. Red Nebular has some preview shots of tribal space orcs, cultists, and a giant overlord. This is a Toxic Abomination by Vault Z. This is the Crimson Countess by Kraken's Vault, a vampiric lady of darkness with a wicked sense of humor. Maddox Historical Miniatures has the Swedish Army of the 7 Years' War for their September release. Naga Minis have finished up their September release with a Corgi riding mouse, owl folk, and meerkat folk. Here's a few odds and ends from 2 Gargoyle Studio. Legend Builds has Knights Cult Banner Bearers and The Attorney. Village's Hope Miniatures have their first 2 goddesses for September, Amaterasu and Bastet. Trident Studios has a couple superheroes headed for their October release. Beast Mode Miniatures has 3 skull-wearing barbarians this month. Shala Karanok is a sneak peek at what's in store for September from Across the Realms. Tiny Furniture Digital has added a Tiny Alchemist to their Tiny Distillery set. This is a work in progress Bugbear Barbarian by Role Playing Miniatures. Print and Paint Miniatures is adding a baby dragon to their collection this week. "3D Hexes has some creepy stuff coming soon. This is Ancient Leader Hagen from Studio DR. New units from Ilhadiel include a Cannibal Captain, Elite Infantry, and the Kraken Tamer. This Big Stompy Robot by Imitation of Life Miniatures is a herald of the robots marching in for September. The Bone Lord and the Bone Seer by Drunk Mago Seller have finally been released. This is the Grimguard Delta Force, the new set out by Station Forge. Creature Armory has a new preview up of this Necromancer Queen. Albino Raven Miniatures has 2 squads of flamers ready to download. These are steampunk-looking ghosts and Ghostbusters by Drunken Dwarf. Crucible of Games has a sneak peek at what they're working on this month. I like the APC. Wake's Emporium has fixed up some of their old small-scale orc units and are releasing some of them for free. Tiger Skull RPG has a preview up of this Barbarian for their next release. Rageous Creations has finished up work on and released their September set. Blue Sky Minis has their first preview for October, a sharpshooter with Spotted Goblin. Big Mr. Tong has sculpted a droid inspired by his stapler. Here is Epic's and Stuff's finished September release, as well as a look at some pools your players can be lured into. Titan Troll Miniatures has close-ups of their tribe of goblins, plus previews of elven infantry and archers. Diceheads has an Underdark adventure headed your way. New creatures from Schlossbauer include an Ascomoid, a Globster, and a Sorcerer Cat. Edge Miniatures has finished up work on their Dark Elf raiding crafts and throne ship, with plenty of folk to crew them. Black Remnant has a big ol' Rancor beast and a bounty hunter droid. Chibi STL has the Joker, Thor, and a work-in-progress General Grievous. 3DXM is the same folks as the last campaign, Chibi STL. This month they have a Chibi Donatello, Harley, Bud, and Lou, and they're still finishing up Darth Maul. Skullforge Studios is new to Patreon but not to mini sculpting. I can't wait to see what they come up with for their monthly releases. Signum Workshop has some close-ups of this month's big model and hero of the Ophidian Alliance, Foremother Angaborga. Here are more previews of the burned-out Vladivostok from Dark Realms, and a character from Eberron whose flaming sword makes him somewhat suspect. Vevictus Miniatures has finished a human fighter this week, and 2 little gobos as well. Last Sword Miniatures has full previews of their September release, as well as sneak peeks at what's in store for October. Unwilling to give up in the face of defeat, Red Pilgrim Miniatures is now sending in Desert Hawk mortar teams to secure their future in the fight. This is the first design ship by Seb Miniatures, Yoda's Starfighter, with more minis to come. Atlan Forge's first release for September are these lovely Asgardian Valkyries. Great Grimoire welcomes you to the Wild Rose Hotel with the start of their September release. Gearguts Mech Shop has a big claw mech this month, as well as bruisers, armor for them, primal orcs, and banner poles. Here are some preview renders of 3D Art Digital's September release. Gamescape 3D has some pillars and stalagmites this month, as well as additions to last month's temple terrain. Fotis Mint has a new bust of Captain America as a zombie. The Dragon's Rest have finished work on their crypt tile, with openable sarcophagus and grave. Next up is statues for the exterior niches. Here are the completed Landsknechts of Soltau unit by Highlands Miniatures. These are the Harbingers of Wrath from Avatars of War, demonic heralds with interchangeable heads. Here are the first previews of Gomek's September fantasy release of Persian-themed orcs. These are Olga and Volga, Amazon Dwarf Sisters, the first previews from Bite the Bullet's next set. In addition to the 10th anniversary character bundle I showed off last week, Anvil Digital Forge also has Modular Interior Factory or Ship Terrain tiles. Papsikel's September sci-fi release is Skull Hunters 2, with more than 20 Marines and Mercs taking on these alien hunters. Also, they have a preview out for their September Cyberpunk release, and check out their Kickstarter, which I'll cover in my video on Tuesday. The Dragon Trappers Lodge have dropped their September lore post, so now you can go learn all about this snub-winged Horncrest and others. Epic Miniatures have the first previews for their October release, Sky Dominion, with an airship, sky dogs, and falcon birdfolk. The Maker's Cult has new Cyberzerker Heavy Infantry to go with the heavy tank from last week. One Page Rules is treating us to close-ups of their September release this week. And finally for today, MZ4250 has a white, as well as vampires and vampire spawns. That's all for now. I'd like to give a huge thanks to all my patrons on Patreon. Check back Tuesday for another Kickstarter countdown, and thanks for watching.